Miraculous Ladybug is back with a new season in a new era, with all of her friends from class now having their own Miraculous and acting as heroes in Paris. Today, we're going to talk about them all and, more importantly, the potential shipping that the different characters might have based on hints in the show, particularly in its new ending theme. Now, for the first 5 seasons, the ending theme was a simple loop of Marinette and Adrien turning to Ladybug and Cat Noir and then back again. It was pretty iconic with its simplicity, and as they revamped the show with entirely new animation models, it made sense that they would remake the ending theme as a whole for season 6. With all the new heroes now working with Ladybug and carrying their own Kwami, however, the ending theme surprised us with the rotating Ladybug charm revealing not just Ladybug and Cat Noir, but all of the superheroes. After Ladybug and Cat Noir, we see Nino and Alia, perhaps the second most important, or at least second most well-known couple in the show. They're the easygoing couple that the others get to compare their more frequent singleness to, and it repeats this pattern of the ending theme pairing up characters in romantic situations, which might have some big implications for other characters in the cast. These two, however, were the earliest of hero helpers to Ladybug, with Alia becoming Reina Rouge early on as the only person that Marinette really trusted. Because so much of Alia's story was tied up in Marinette's secret identity, it made sense that her power would be the power of illusion, which is often used to help Ladybug keep her secret identity. Nino, meanwhile, has the desire to protect, making him an obvious choice for the Kwami of the turtle and its power to shield. Already, these two are being seen in Season 6 as the most common ally to assist Ladybug, which makes sense with them also being the best friends of Marinette and Adrien in real life. Following those shots of Alia and Nino, and then in their superhero forms, the ending theme transitions, surprisingly, to Sabrina and Zoe Lee, the wielders of the Miraculous of the dog and the bee respectively. This is interesting because after Zoe and Sabrina, the ending theme cycles through 3 more known romantic couples before getting to pairings that may just be platonic or just leftover characters, giving the impression that the creators want us to see these two as a romantic duo. Zoe's story was something explored a lot over the last few seasons after her introduction as the younger sister to the evil Chloe Bourgeois. Chloe was the original holder of the Bee Miraculous, but she wasn't the first choice Marinette would have for a superhero in general, with Chloe being chosen more so due to the circumstances of those particular episodes. After proving she ultimately wasn't worthy of this Miraculous, it was given instead to her half-sister Zoe, who Marinette got along with much more. This turns her to Queen Wasp to differentiate her from Chloe's Queen Bee, with the power of the Kwami Pollen to freeze people with her venom. Marinette and Zoe had both been victims of Chloe's abuse, and Marinette seemed to see that this shaped Zoe to be someone who was worthy of wielding a Miraculous and being a superhero. What's interesting is that the ending theme pairs Zoe up with Chloe's ex-best friend, Sabrina, and I had previously theorized that these two could end up together. On screen, the two have very little interaction so far, but what little they do have does seem to be positive. And even though the ending theme might just be hinting at these two being something of a yin-yang pairing with their powers, I want to believe it's hinting at where their story could go in Season 6. Sabrina was the sidekick to Chloe, and she seemed to really like her, but she struggled to be friends with her when Chloe acted particularly evil. Early on, Sabrina was bought by the use of Chloe's beautiful shoes and other clothing items, but she also showed a desire to adhere to the law. She could still be mischievous within the law, but because her father was a cop, it was important to her to try and be good too. This was something Ladybug addressed in the episode Penalty, where Sabrina and a few of the others are given a Kwami for the very first time. Here, Marinette talks about how important it is to want to be good, and indicates that Sabrina had begun to show that this is what she truly wanted when she worked against Chloe. With the Kwami of the dog, known as Bark, she becomes Lady Hound, who can fetch anything with her magic ball. Now, Sabrina was presented as having an interest in a boy in the Miraculous World New York special, but she also showed signs that she might have feelings for Chloe in episodes like Antibug. Here, Sabrina tries to play Ladybug and Cat Noir with Chloe, a game they play a lot. But with Sabrina being Cat Noir, this paints her as having feelings for Chloe, with Chloe playing as Ladybug, hinting at the idea that she doesn't realize just how much Sabrina likes her. In this episode, Sabrina becomes sad and reminisces over all the good times she had with Chloe, where they seem to get pretty physically close. In the later episode Oblivio, it's also hinted that the two had practiced kissing together, when the characters talk about playing the game Super Penguino. This game is used as a fig leaf joke within the show to reference kissing, with Alia and Nino sneaking away to play this game, but also making kissy faces at each other. I honestly can't just explain this, you need to see the shots and hear it for yourself.
Why did you want to erase everyone's memory?
Well, we went and hid to play Super Penguino, but Mr. Bustier caught us, and we were totally embarrassed at getting caught.
And that's when we got akumatized.
Next time, just make sure you play at home and not on school field trips.
Julika and I often play Super Penguino together.
Everybody loves that game, you know.
You know, sometimes even Chloe and I... Hey!
I haven't played it yet, but it looks fun.
All you need is to find the right partner. Right, Marinette?
Notice how embarrassed Chloe was when Sabrina admits that they play the game too, and Adrian talking about how he can't wait to play it for the first time, indicating what he really wants is his first kiss, at least one that he will remember, since he apparently kissed Ladybug in that episode before having their memories erased. With Chloe fleeing Paris, however, and Sabrina becoming a hero, it leaves the possibility open that she could develop feelings for someone else. Now, when it comes to women, Sabrina does seem to have a type, and that type is Chloe, as when Zoe is introduced in her first episode, Sabrina actually latches onto her very affectionately and begs to be allowed to do her homework for her when Zoe acts like a bully the way that Chloe does. While Zoe isn't really a bully, this seems to hint further at the possibility that the two could have a connection. And this ending theme really drives that theory home. After all, following Sabrina and Zoe, the amulet transitions to Kagami and Felix, the third most important couple in the show. Kagami and Felix are both kind of the Shadow the Hedgehog to their in-world counterpart, with Kagami being a darker Marinette and Felix being very literally a darker Adrian. Kagami had feelings for Adrian early on, but also that strong desire to be friends with Marinette, leading to her eventually giving up on Adrian and doing her best to support Adrian and Marinette's eventual relationship. She would eventually get the Kwami of the dragon with the power over sort of elemental weather, with which she becomes Ryoko. Felix was originally the holder of the dog Miraculous back when Marinette had wanted to give it to Adrian and had mistaken Felix for him, but he would eventually be allowed to keep the Miraculous of the peacock after how instrumental he was in helping Marinette defeat Gabriel. This Miraculous has some of the most unique powers, being able to create centimonsters or centibeings. These are essentially real people or animals that are created, with Felix himself being one of these centimonsters or centibeings made from the Peacock Miraculous himself. After this pairing in the end credits, we transition to yet another couple, the lesser seen Nathaniel and Mark. Two dudes just working on a comic together, but also they're in love. Nathaniel uses his goat Miraculous to become Caprikid, and uses a magic paintbrush to create helpful objects. Mark, meanwhile, uses the Kwami of the rooster to become Rooster Bold, with the overpowered ability to grant other people whatever power they want. Obviously, this can't interfere with the power of an existing Kwami, but that always seemed underutilized to me. Next, we get another confirmed couple in the end credits, Maylin and Ivan. These two are very activism focused, with Maylin first getting granted the power of Molo to become Multimouse in the episode Mega Leech, where they're trying to save their park. This gives her the ability to turn into tiny, smaller versions of herself to do multiple tasks. Her boyfriend Ivan, meanwhile, was given the Kwami of the Ox in the episode Penalty, becoming Minotaur Ox. His power is a bit vague, but he seems to be resistant to physical and magical damage, which makes him good for using super strength in dangerous scenarios where he needs to take a hit. Finally, we get to not the last pairing in this ending theme, but the last couple, Rose and Julika. Rose is a character who also showed interest in a boy early on, but later found herself in a relationship with Julika, her favorite person to play Super Penguino with. Rose was given the power of the Pig Kwami, Daizizi, which gives its wearer the power of jubilation, or the ability to give the fantasy of the greatest desire to someone else, which can be useful for distraction or even as therapy. Julika, meanwhile, becomes Purple Tigress with the power of Cloud, or super strength with this sort of shockwave effect that you might think of as similar to a tiger's roar. From here, we actually get two more pairings, because this show has a lot of superheroes, but these are not confirmed couples. They of course still could go on to be couples, and I'd like to see at least one of these pairings turn into a romance, but it may also just be that these are leftover characters and that their Kwami in particular are meant to have a yin-yang balance as described by Suhan in the show. After Rose and Julika, the ending theme transitions to Max and Kim, the holder of the horse and the holder of the monkey. These two are friends, and this pairing could be just about that, but they also seem to be a good yin-yang balance in that Max brings the smarts to the table and Kim is particularly athletic. Max wields the horse Miraculous, granting him the power of teleportation through the Kwami Kalki. As Pegasus, Max uses his portals to transport himself, allies, or objects to distant locations. Kim, meanwhile, wields the Monkey Miraculous and is a rare hero in that it was actually Master Fu himself who granted this extra Miraculous to him instead of Ladybug initially. With the power of Zupu, Kim becomes King Monkey, using the power of Uproar to create chaos and disorient his enemies. Finally, we get one last pairing of Alex and Luca. Alex was one of the earliest members of the team to get a permanent Miraculous, being given the Miraculous of the Bunny and being sent across time to keep its power safe from Shadow Moth. This left the power of the Snake Miraculous for Luca, which also deals with time travel but only for 5 minutes. Thus his power is called Second Chance, as it gives him unlimited second chances to defeat a bad guy within a short time frame. Due to both of these being time-based superpowers, it makes sense that they would be something of a yin-yang pairing, but it would also be interesting to see these two get to talk to each other and maybe even form a relationship. Despite the similarity in their powers, they are interestingly the most distant characters from each other, and I'm not even sure if they've actually had any on-screen interactions. But with the ability to travel through time, and Luca now carrying this Miraculous full-time, it makes sense to me that the two might end up crossing paths at some point and maybe even start a relationship. But so far, these are just my theories. Let me know your theories in the comments down below, and if you haven't seen it yet, consider checking out my Miraculous Ladybug mythology video. It's 36 minutes long and gets deep into how the yin-yang structure discussed in this video has a deep effect on every aspect of the show, particularly its story. And if you want to talk more about Miraculous Ladybug, come hang out with us in the Cartoon Universe Discord server. Links as always are in the pinned comments down below, and I'll see you next time.